Good afternoon, Internet. Just came out after lunch and figured we'd do a shop update. Firebird's mine, just like looking at it. People comment and keep asking about why it's in the background. There'll be videos on this one coming soon. The big guy up there. There's a bit of work above the windshield, and then that'll be almost ready for paint. I don't know if I got pictures up or any video, but I got this 69 Firebird. You can see down here it's going to need a piece added into the rocker. Floors are good. Doors are absolutely perfect. You can see where the mounts and stuff are. A lot of it's still black. The frame's nice. Someone's got these really weird, I don't know, Chevy, possibly big block motor mounts. Seem to be tack welded in, so we're going to cut them off, because that's just the wrong way of doing it anyway. The guy who owns this car's got like 15 of these cars, so I'm going to have to go see what that's supposed to look like and, you know, do some work on the firewall. But there's no rot. You can see down, you know, the places where these things rot. I mean, you can unbolt the body off this frame probably with a ratchet. Someone had, I don't know if this was a vinyl top car or whatever, but someone painted black right over the rust, so we're going to sand that all off and treat it. But let me show you. It's a 68 Firebird. We have a 400 hood with this car, so that's kind of cool. There's no powertrain. There's various interior stuff available if anybody wants to buy it. This car is for sale. It's not mine. But if anyone's interested, comment, and I can put you in touch with the owner. But yeah, she is... There's your floors. I don't know how well you can see that. But look, it's all solid and really good. Here's inside. Now, it does look like someone did floor pans at one point. Now, this car came from Arkansas. I've done a few from Arkansas that this guy brings me. They tend to be good. And you can even see inside the door there, if I can catch it. There's no rot there. A little bit of surface and whatnot, but clean that up. I mean, the doors are worth it alone. There's your rockers. There's your floor pan. You can see where they welded it there. So this car, they did a bunch of body work on it, and the story is they did the floors at a body shop, and then the car sat for 25 years because the back end got hit in the corner. And it just sat there on the pavement for 25 years till the guy shut down his shop and retired. So here's what the car needs. It came with lower quarters in the trunk, so I cut and fit those. And the reason I went as low as I did, when you look in the trunk, you won't really see the repair there. Now what we had planned on doing, we were going to sacrifice a couple of front fenders and cut out the wheel arches and extend them a little bit to fit here. But the fenders that we had, the spare fenders, were full of Bondo, so we just tossed those. So this might end up getting, you know, the quarters that come up so far or up over the edge, whatever. We didn't want to do full quarters, but I'll talk to the owner and see what he wants to do. Here's your front fenders. I got to repair the corners, both of them. That's the lower quarter, but otherwise the front fenders are nice. Couple minor spots or whatever, but nothing crazy. And the tail pan, like I said, it was hitting the back end in the parking lot, so it wasn't badly smashed and twisted. But this corner here, I'll try to find the pictures and share those if I haven't already, but basically this whole corner here, so right here, this was bent down, and this was like here, like this. And then this was waved, where we got it pretty good. There's a little low spot right here I couldn't hammer out because there's like a brace behind here that just sort of stops. But this is Like I ran a file over it. I don't know if you can see the marks, but it's pretty close. Close enough for filler. If a guy wanted to do a little more body work, you know, metal work, they could. But there's the gap we got. It is sitting a little low on the front. But basically, I've got the trunk lid. It's an older trunk lid, but we took it off of another car. Must have had a dent and some Bondo work here. I don't know. The owner would probably give you a better trunk lid, but honestly, take all this off and redo it. There's right here and right here is a little low. You could fix that up. Weld a few studs on there and pull it out. We're not doing that. Basically, the tail pan, because it was sitting in the corner, someone cut a big chunk out and it got rotten from sitting for 25 years with, you know, rain and crap going in there. The bumper's not bolted on. It's just sitting there. I basically wanted to use it to make sure that everything was centered the way it should be. Because, you know, when something gets sit in the corner, and this corner here had been banged up a bit, but I mean, it wasn't smashed. Let me just roll over here. So yeah, it's not bad. I had to go get a template off the other car. What I didn't realize on these Firebirds and Camaros, right here angles in, and then as you come down, by the time you hit here, it becomes flat. And this was, like I say, this was here, so, you know, that all had to be... I'd welded some tabs. Actually, no, this one I didn't. I put a block on the inside and clamped it and bolted it and then pulled this all out. And then I hammered it out slowly because I didn't want to wrinkle the sides. The sides are pretty nice. There's a little wee spot in here. Yeah, you know, tin work, right? But anyway, it's not bad. And again, same thing, around the quarter. I don't think you need complete wheel or, what do you call them? Dog houses inside. But you know, you got to cut the fender away to fix them, like I said. So we were going to just fix what we had to, sacrifice a set of front fenders, but you know, everything being hard to get these days. But I think we're going to go ahead and just spend whatever the shipping and cost is and get some quarters for this. You can see where that one's been cut off, and the drop down panel for inside is also cut off. It was all, well, everything was bent, and that's everything kind of rotted. That's just sitting here. Pull the trunk lid closed. So here's your trunk floor, just to give you an idea. It's got to be cleaned up and painted, but it ain't all rotten. There's a couple little pinholes where stuff had been jammed through, but it's mostly in good shape. So right here, you can see a patch on the floor, and down here you can see a couple welds where I had to open it up. So what we had to do is take a foot off, what was it, 10 and a half inches off the back of the frame, because it was smashed in the corner and the frame went to hell. Let me see if we can show you what we've got going on. So basically, I surgically took it apart and remade exactly the same way what they had. And the only difference is inside the frame now, and this is why the floor was cut open in the top. So the frame had to be slugged to join the new to the old inside. I think it's somewhere back here where the new frame piece is, but that's slugged inside and welded inside, outside, plug welded. That is stronger than what came from the factory. That's never going to move. I mean, if you put enough power in this car to bend what I fixed, you're going to be back half in this car anyway. I don't care how good your car is. Yeah, the trunk fits right. The back panel can soon be welded in. I threw the bumper on with 2 bolts. It's just hanging, but look at how nice that fit. Everything's square and straight. Nothing was twisted. The trunk lid that came with this car, actually, the back corner was all smashed. So we yanked this out of his parts pile. We fit it on a car that we knew was original and good, just to make sure that it fit right, so that we could line up all the fenders. Because the fenders were both a wee bit, you know, weird. And you never know when something's hit. So you got to check. Make sure things are where they want to be and where they should be. You know, you don't want the next guy being mad that things don't fit or some piece of trim or whatever. So everything's got to be right. So if anyone's interested in the Firebird, like I say, drop a comment and I'll message you or something, and, you know, we'll figure it out. All the glass is in the car, and it's okay. couple little marks, but no big chips or anything like that. Windshield's usable, the back window, the side glasses are all in. What else do we have? We got the front fenders, front bumper. It's weathered, but it's straight. It's not all smashed as most of them are, and so is the back one. So you could technically, if you wanted to paint your bumpers to match, you know, murdered out, something like that. This is a perfect car. Like, look at the frame. I don't know if somebody repainted that or whatever. There's no pitting in it. Like, the rust is very superficial. So whether that was painted or not, I don't know. Like, you can see that all this piece here is good. Sometimes those are rotten. They get full of leaves sitting in the junkyard. Not rotten. Still got lots of green paint in there. What do we got? If I can show you in here. There's a bit of tar and some gook, but from the windshield, but I mean, that's not rotten. Right here, that tends to rot on a lot of them. Just showing you, the car looks like a beater. Now right here, you're gonna need a little patch. Not a big deal. Everything around it's super solid. Around the back window's good, exception of right here. When you pull the back window, you're gonna have to weld a piece in here. Again, not a big deal. Usually, like, I'm welding all the way around, you know, 3-4 little patches. Canadian cars are rough. Being from Arkansas, I guess this, they must have a better climate. Trunk's not rotten by no means. It's in really good shape. So it can be used. Now there's latches and stuff I haven't quite finished. Right, this. There you go. That completes that. So that's got to be welded back in. It was a little bit wonky, so I had to straighten it out. And when it's in there, I noticed this actually fits better. Anyway, my dad's Ram. So that is, what did we use? We used Nassen single stage, what do they call it? Full Fane, which I've never used. We used it here. You can't tell the difference in color. We painted to here and just oversprayed. So, like, there's no tape line or anything. We weren't too worried about in there, but I gotta say the color is bang on because I can't see it. It's not just the camera. It's good. The finish is nice. I kind of like it for a single stage. It's expensive compared to what I usually use. I use a lot of Limco, what is it? Limco Select Supreme or Limco Supreme, you know, pretty nice. But anyway, the cab is painted. So we're going to do the doors, fenders, and hood next, and maybe the bumper and bolt all that on. When you're doing these Dodge Rams, there's these little black things up here glued into the roof. Yank those off, clean the junk off. The seam sealer, this is an 05, I think, Rumblebee, and there was cracks in it, and under a couple of the cracks I did find holes. So the truck never leaked, but doesn't mean it can't. And Dad's going to come back out to the shop, actually, because this is his truck, so he's going to, I'm going to try to convince him to clean up some of the frame and just paint it black. I mean, the sides weren't too bad, but you could see, so... But, yeah, she's a little crusty, but nothing wrong with the frame, just a little crusty. You can see the new section of floor in there with all those little white tabs. That didn't exist. We had to replace all that. The full floor in here. Basically, we did a floor pan. I had to remove this big piece so we could do the floor to come up and over. And then this piece in here. The other side was okay. Some minor little patch, like a couple inches long. But anyway. So my windshield guy's coming soon. We had to get that done. You got to paint below it. You know, I mean, everyone likes to tape. So the next project after the Ram. This one's going to be here all winter. Pretty excited. This has been a long time coming. This is a 63 Coupe de Ville. Man, it looks really good on camera. It actually looks really good in real life too. It was a gold colored car, and The owner bought this car. This is what I love about this car. Sorry, I just got to walk around the hoist. Here, let me set this down for a second. So, the guy that owns this is a mechanic. I believe he's probably around 60. Everything under the hood is clean and restored. Look at the sticker even on the AC unit. Alternator, I don't know if it's rebuilt or new, but he did all this. Brand new radiator. It could be a Recore rebuild, but really, really well done. Like, look at that. Even the AC rods, everything on the under the hood, as he says, this is all new. He did pretty good work. There's the brake thing. There's the rustiest thing is the lid on the brake thing, and he had replaced it at one time, put a clean one on. So the story is he bought this car when he was like 16, 17 years old. The car was gold and ugly. He had it for a couple of years and painted it white. There, we'll shut the hood. He met his wife with this car. They dated and did all that fun stuff, and then they got married in this car. And I don't know, a few years after they got married, at some point, you know, people grow up, as we all do, and they sold the car. Well, here's your trunk while I'm talking. Because it's in pretty good shape. It's all got to be cleaned out. So he sells the car. You know, this is like probably 30 years ago or something. And one day, he's driving in some town in the middle of nowhere, Ontario, about 4 or 5 hours away from where he lives. He was on some vacation. And he sees this pink car out in the middle of a field in front of a guy's house for sale. And his wife made him go back and look at it. And when he got to looking at the interior is totally out of the car. But when he was looking at the interior, he noticed some things. And it turned out this was his car. Here's the original. I don't know if it's a gold or what you call it, pewter. Nasty color. That was the original. But anyway, he had painted it white, sold it. And then the guy who bought it sold it to a guy who painted it pink. And then it just went into storage and never went on the road. The guy had a whole bunch of cars in a barn that he liked to look at. So when he got older and sold it, the guy realized it was his car. And of course, all the paperwork showed that. So he bought the car back 12 years ago. So he basically blew it apart, took all the interior out, brakes, everything's been gone over. You can see a little rust in the bottom of the door, but nothing too crazy. The rocker sills are absolutely beautiful. Down here they like to rot. It didn't. But yeah, it's something. I'm more of a muscle car hot rod guy, but this is, I don't know, it's like a great big engine. Supposedly has close to 400 horse. For the weight of the car, you'd need that to pull you around. But anyway, so the guy bought his car back 12 years ago and basically stripped it all down. He's got all brand new interior redone. If anyone knows a place in Eastern Ontario where a guy can get door cards done, it's the only thing left to do for this car. Everything else is brand new. Over the winter, the wife and I are going to strip this car basically right down to metal and bring it right back. You know, because it's got a couple paint jobs and some Bondo. Now, he told me the car was hit one time in the door and front fender, so we might find some surprises. But when you look at the pillars and stuff, everything looks good. I don't think it was a hard hit. It's probably real cosmetic. We're going to strip the whole car down. Worst part of the car is actually right here. You see under the trunk, we're going to have to make a new lip. And then you can see here, there you go. So we're probably going to cut that off, remake that, weld new steel into it. We looked at getting other trunk lids. Again, I'm in Ontario, Canada, so that stuff's hard to get. He found one, and I forget what he said it would cost, because you can buy one for $3,000 that needs body work. I don't know if that's right, but that's all he could find. Might as well just do the body work to this. And you know what? It's all original, so I would agree. You can see the pink in here was a lot, well, there's a few runs, but it was a nice bright color. But I mean, it was probably like an old acrylic, whatever paint, so it faded as it does. You could buff it out, but there's some issues, and he wants it restored, and he wants it restored right. Cool thing is he's got a budget on this car, which, you know, if you do any of this kind of work, most people don't. That's got to be repaired there. Front fender and a little bit of the door, probably from the accident that got wallered, and, you know, a bit of dampness got in there and it chewed. But like I say, we're going to take the whole car down to metal. Even the inside, we're going to clean all this up and, you know, black it all out, treat it. Car's going to be a, we're hoping for a blood red with a lot of metal flake in it. So it's going to be a really elaborate paint job. We're probably going to do a couple layers and then do an intermediate clear. Pull it out in the sun, have a look at it. But it's going to be a blood red with lots of metallic. We might even do some metal flake in clear coat on top of the paint, and then wet sand that down and then clear coat the car. So he's got some kind of wire. I haven't seen them yet. I haven't seen the interior or anything. What you're seeing is this is how it came to me. So basically he's got wire wheels for the car, chrome, I guess, and brand new Coker white walls for it. So he has all that coming when the car is done. When I'm done painting the car, I'm basically sending it back to him, and he's going to reassemble the car. And I'm going to show him how to kind of tape around stuff so that you can put stuff in, and, you know, the oops will only hurt the tape. And, you know, this way anything happens, when it's all done, he can bring it back and we can fix it. But so that's where we're at. Just figured I'd share. I've been pretty busy, so I haven't posted too many videos. I probably got a couple on the phone that I got to throw on. I don't do the YouTube thing for likes or money or anything. I just thought it'd be fun to share some stuff. A lot of channels that I liked watching were kind of low-key channels where, you know, people like to share stuff, and I do this for a living. It's not just for YouTube. So, wow, look at the hood on this thing. It's super long. So yeah, the interesting thing about this car, now he tells me that Cadillacs, this is a 63, and I believe he said the 59 or 60, because of the way the bumpers were like 22 foot something. And it's one of the longest cars short of a limo to ever be built. And the 63, I don't know if 62 or what, if they're the same, but I know he said this car would have been the second longest Cadillac ever built. We measured the car. My old shop is only 20 feet deep. This car will not fit in that shop. The car is about 21 and change, close to 22 when you put the bumpers and everything back on. The F350 four-door with the 6.9 box on it outside, not 20 feet long, like right near 20 feet, and that's it. Just to give you an idea how long these cars really are. I feel like me and my board files, you know, we're going to have quite a relationship coming midwinter. So this thing's got to be flat and straight. And like I say, I'm dumping half my workload this winter just to concentrate on this. I will be doing other stuff, but there's going to be a lot of hours into this. It's going to be a big budget car, biggest one I've had. I can't share numbers because that's, you know, that's up to the customer, not up to me. But yeah, so this is a very interesting car. So that's going to be fun. So again, this guy, we're doing metal work, a bit of primer, and we're going to sell this as a roller. Again, if you're interested, 68 Firebird with a 400 hood. I don't have the hood here, but I've seen it. The hood's absolutely mint. It probably didn't come with the car. I think he bought the car with the fenders hanging on it and the way you see it. We do have the front valance. It's all banged up, but he probably has an aftermarket or another one. You can deal that out with the guy that owns the car. But if you're interested in a 68 Firebird, it's a nice little rolling shell. She's solid. A lot of original steel still in her. It'd be a really good builder for sure. Leave a comment or message or whatever, and I'll put you in touch with the guy if you want to buy it. I know it won't be cheap, but they are what they are. Anyway, that's the update for today. You know, everything's getting older in the shop. It's kind of cool. It's what I enjoy. All right, have a good day. Thanks.